So what is our main feature for tonight?
Actually, feature tayo. Yung usap nga tayo dito, di ba? It's actually a feature and also partly a discussion and also a tutorial. No? So, it's a bit difficult to produce the show and also be the host. But definitely, something that the first time pa lang, Nicco, thank you for bringing the discussion here. If you are here for this particular product, the AVMatrix HVS0402U, which I am actually in front of right now. Pretty exciting yung product na to. But before we go here, or at least babalik tayo dyan, Nicco, if you have questions, let me know. Kasi alam natin na mas nagla-live stream ako compared to you. But also, if we have friends in the chat or in the comments, let us know if you have questions. Definitely, we're open to these things.
We'll also give some shirts to the people who have some of the best questions.
Yes.
Okay ba yun?
Parang physical workshop lang. Very encouraging magtanong ng questions. Yes. Okay. Sabi nga ni Sir RJ, may T-bar. Definitely. Okay. Before we go there, I'll start with this slide. This is the AVMatrix HVS0402U. 0401 yung nauna actually. It's a micro 4-channel HDMI live streaming video switcher with USB capture. Okay. Micro, I think, ito yung tinatanong ni Nicco kanina. Pwede ba natin siyang i-compare? This is the AVMatrix and this is the Hdmi, which is, by the way, also available. But, kung titingnan mo, just from the dimensions from the top, medyo mas malaki yung AVMatrix, no? But on the sides, a bit thicker yung AVMatrix. And, ano tawag dito? In terms of build quality, I'll go back to this slide. In terms of build quality, it's actually all metal. No, all metal. It has a 1/4 20-inch screw underneath. Saan ba nag-exist yung 1/4 20, Nicco? Light stand? Yung ibabaw ng light stand, di ba? Yung ibabaw ng mga tripod screws natin. Definitely, andyan. Pwede mo siyang i-mount. No? Pwede ka maglagay ng quick release and then patong mo siya sa tripod. Or use an arm so that you can mount it on your beside the tripod, di ba? It's a bit bigger than the competition. Like what I said, it's a bit bigger than the Hdmi, even the Pro and ISO. But it has its own merits as well. No? So, moving forward, ito, if you are the geek, if you've been waiting for this particular product, inputs niya, there are 4 inputs, HDMI, and then 4 HDMI inputs, and ni-review ko siya ulit. There are built-in scalers for each of the inputs. And that's very important because whatever resolution you put in there, magsiscale siya and papasok siya dito sa switcher na to. So, I've tried 1080i 60, I've tried 1080p 60. Papasok naman siya. And then, 2 audio 3.5mm jacks. Kasing laki nung sa earphones. So, if you're using, let's say, microphones that have that 3.5mm jack, you can input them on this side. Let me just move to this particular. Oh, ayan. Hindi ko alam kung makikita nyo. Medyo nakakabit kasi may HDMI ko. But definitely, there are 2 3.5mm 3.5mm jacks on this particular unit. So, those are the inputs. Now, for the outputs, and may asterisk dyan, it's very interesting to know that there are 2 HDMI inputs, one of which is the program out. So, kung nag-live stream ka, ito yung papunta or ito yung itsura nung mini-mix mo dito sa switcher na to. The second one is the multi-view, which we will visit later on. I actually hooked this up para makita nyo rin yung multi-view. Now, there's a USB Type-C, which is the program output as well. And then, before I go back to that idea, there's one 3.5mm jack. That's an audio output. So, pwede ka mag-monitor ng audio mo from the mixer itself. Okay? Clear so far? Parang teacher pala eh.
Clear so far.
Nicco, may enough ka bang cameras para ikabit dyan sa 4 na HDMI na yan?
Meron naman. Wala lang akong enough cables.
Meron kang 3, tapos pwede mo ikabit yung phone mo. Para 3-cam, tapos maglalaro ka ng Call of Duty Mobile from all angles yung reaction mo, di ba? So, yun siya. Ayan. And then, given that naglagay ako ng asterisk dyan, reassignable, and this really surprised me with this particular unit. the two HDMI inputs, outputs, the program out and also the multi-view out is actually reassignable. So, ibig sabihin, pwede kang mag-monitor lang ng isang angle, pwede kang magdalawang multi-view, pwede kang magtatlong multi-view, even the USB Type-C is actually reassignable. So, for example, demo natin siya. Ayan. So, for example, here, this view right here, naghang na naman. The video that you are seeing in the center, that's actually from the USB-C of this particular unit. So, pinaglalaroan ko siya kanina.
Kala ko CCTV ng bahay nyo.
Ay, sorry, hindi yan CCTV ng bahay namin. So, meron siyang, ito yung USB-C. So, right now, the output is the multi-view. But, if hindi ka pa memorize yung menus niya, but definitely, wait lang guys, nalolost pa dito sa menu. But to be fair, like most gadgets naman, there's a learning curve to most of the things that you are actually using. Ayun, nasa output. So, USB out, if you will see on your screen, that USB out, lakihan natin ng konti. Yan. That USB out can actually be changed to HDMI, let's say 1. Baka mawala lahat. Baka hindi ko makita. Baka mahirapan ako bumalik dito. And then, pwede rin siyang, tag dito, pwede rin siyang clean program, preview, color bar, and also, several options, no? So, that's very important when you are producing live streams na pwede mong piliin kung ano yung output na to. Even the multi-view output can actually be color bars, HDMI 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Even the program output can actually be another multi-view. So, just imagine, even if you have only 2 HDMI outputs, pwedeng parehas program, pwedeng parehas multi-view, no? So, that excited me a lot with this particular thing. So, going back to the slides, again, 4 HDMI inputs with scalers, 2 audio jacks, 3.5mm, and then 2 HDMI outputs, 1 USB Type-C, and then 1 3.5mm jack for audio monitoring. Okay. Now, the keys that are available on this particular unit, meron siyang Chroma Key for your green screen or whatever color the background is. There's a Luma Key where you want to key out a certain dark portion. Kunwari black yung background, you can use that. We also have downstream keys. We also have a DSK or downstream key. But in addition to that, actually hindi ako masyadong gumagamit ng Chroma Luma personally. But in addition to that, there are 2 PIPs and 1 logo overlay. So ibig sabihin, even if you set aside that Chroma Key and Luma Key and DSK, you still have options of bringing in PIPs and 1 logo overlay. Let me show you what I mean. No, so if this is the multi-view, I can turn on. You will see in the preview of the hardware, I can turn on the PIP at the upper left-hand side, which is 1 button. Turn on the PIP, the second PIP on the lower right-hand side, and then I can bring them on air. And then, there you go. Meron kang dalawang PIP without using any of the upstream keys. Alam mo kasi, Nico, with other pieces of hardware, yung upstream key is also your PIP. So, automatic na yun. So, when you use that USK, upstream key, wala ka na kagad ibang PIP. In this case, with this particular product, meron siyang dalawa. And then, there's another feature here. Punta tayo dun sa menu niya. POP, actually. POP yung tawag. So, when saan nga ba nakalagay? When we go through this, so we have PIP on your screen, and then there's POP. Now, POP actually brings these 2 frames in kagad. Ayan. So, if you will see, key preview and then on air. So, dalawang screen na siya. You don't have to move around the PIP anymore. Automatic yan yung inputs na lalabas nun. Can you just imagine if you have an online gig, di ba, Nicco? Pero kang background. You have a background that you can loop. Kunwari, input 1 mo would be a computer. And then 2 and 3 would actually be cameras. And then may 2 angles ka na kagad. No? So if you're producing a podcast, you can use this so that you have side-by-side already. You don't have to mess around with how it will align. And that's I think those are very good responses as an update to the first version of this one. And then I think I forgot, if you will look at the upper right hand side of the program, you can also bring on air a logo. Okay, so aside from the 2 PIPs, a third one is the on air the logo. When and again, PIP1, PIP2, and then logo. Ano na yan? Nakatipid ka na sa DSK mo na yan. Which means that your Chroma and Luma can still actually be used for something else. Diba? Napakalaking advantage nung part na yan. I know I jumped a bit ahead, but also I'm also demonstrating the capabilities, at least in terms of button. And notice that this particular multi-view is still actually is directly from the HDMI. Tama. Yeah, directly from the HDMI. Now, this multi-view is actually a combination of these things. The preview window on the upper left-hand side. Sorry, tama ba? Yeah, upper left-hand side. The program window on the upper right. The multi-view, let me go back to this. The multi-view on the upper right-hand side, the lower left-hand side. And then all the menus that can actually be controlled by this knob control over here. Okay. So what impresses me is, or what impresses me with this product is that I haven't even loaded the software, although in beta pa lang siya. Sabi nga ni Sir Sherwin kanina, in beta pa lang siya, but I'm able to control bulk of the settings already. So in terms of controls, let me just go through this right here. Controls, obviously yung buttons, HDMI 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the preview before you bring it on air. So, cut, lagay natin siya dito. Cut. And then you can press cut. You can also bring in a pattern or a still image. Okay, medyo nalolost pa ako dito. Ayan. And then, off natin yung ibang options. And then also, there's a T-bar. Sabi nga ni Sir RJ kanina, there's a T-bar here. And look at how this actually works. And nagulat ako when I move this, Nika, tingnan mo to. Cut muna natin. And pag tiningnan mo to, ayan, umiilaw siya. It reminds you that, at least visually, it reminds you that the T-bar is actually at the top. And then if you have to move it back, then para mawala yung ilaw ulit. So that visual reminder is actually very important when you're using a small mixer like this. Hindi mo na isipin kung nasa taas ba siya, kung na-cross mo na siya or ibabalik mo na siya. Okay? You can change the
actually,
speed.
Compared to the A10 mini that you showed kanina, parang at the very least I can say this is more tactile.
Yes. The A10 mini,
diba?
ayan, hawak ko siya ngayon. Definitely a lot of buttons. Then sa Pro, may dinagdag sila dito. Walang T-bar. As a number of the functions are actually pretty similar. This one is like a MIDI controller. Wait lang. Alam ni Martin to. This thing is like a MIDI controller.
Mukhang may mga nanginginig na.
Oo nga, kinakabahan na yung wallet. This is like a MIDI controller na parang na-customize mo na lahat ng buttons, di ba? So, yeah, tama yung sinabi mo. Very tactile siya. Now,
actually, nung pinipindot mo kanina, hinihintay ko may beats na tumugtog. Yeah.
Parang sabi ko nga magmi-meme yung upstream na. Jingle bells, jingle. Ginawa siyang instrument. Okay. Ayan. Before we go to before I answer some of the questions, on the upper left-hand side, daanan natin to, Nicco. Kasi it's very easy eh. Parang kang tutunog live selling. But Nung inanalyze ko talaga siya, this part over here is actually controlling audio. So may master. You can enable mic 1 and 2, and then enable and disable all of the video of audios of the video. So for example, HDMI 1 audio on or AFV. Pwede ring i-adjust yung volume dito and so on and so forth. So, ano yan? Bukod sa pagiging tactile, may visual feedback on what you're doing, which is important when we're being a musician also before. Parang at least alam mo kapag may nangyayari dun sa screen mismo, di ba? Ayan. And then, you can also control the master, mic 1 and 2. Okay. This part are all the keys. This part are all the PIPs. And then, all the transitions. I forgot what MV is. Babalikan ko kayo. But this part right here is very optimized because there's only a menu control knob. There's a control knob, but also you can press on it. And then, a button that allows you to go back. Okay. So, in this case, if I show it this here again, if I press the knob control, babalik tayo sa menu na to. Ayan. And then, I can just turn it to the left or to the right so that I can go through all of the menus. Now, if you want to change the volume of your audio, let's say, Nico, gusto mong hinaan yung HDMI 1 audio. No? So, I press HDMI 1 and then, nagbi-blink siya. And then, if I turn the knob to the left, binababa niya na yung volume. Then, you can move and then increase the volume again. You can also turn off the audio. Notice how the icon changes. And also AFV. So, AFV is audio follows video. Ako medyo hindi ako sanay gumamit nito. But audio follows video is when you cut or fade to that particular angle or that particular camera, mag-on din yung audio. Mag-on din yung audio nung particular channel na yun. Okay? So,
parang
diba?
ano lang, no? Parang throwback to our music days. Pag nagsa-soundcheck.
Tapos, lolokohin ka ng operator kasi ganun ka ng ganun. Aarte na siya. Aarte siya na ginalaw. Aarte siya ng konti. Pero feeling mo may nagbago na. Diba? Yung running joke. Or that. Okay. Ano pa ba? So, actually, yun na yung yun na yung overview nung product mismo. But, the title of the live stream, or at least this particular session, is what makes this efficient. For me, if I'm just going to put it together, I won't deep dive into the other features, but definitely you can request that in the comment section, or at least you can schedule a call with me while still this is something that I can still play around with. Number one is that multi-view is actually and the settings is actually in one screen. So if we go back here, multi-view in all of the settings, you can actually change just from that particular HDMI out. Number two is that everything in the multi-view can be controlled with the knob control and also all the buttons. And then number three, efficient siya because when you go out, at least when I probably produce a live stream for a wedding, I'll only need two screens. No, number one is my laptop, the second part. But the first one, I'll only need to bring one screen with me, which is a portable monitor that I can plug the multi-view directly. Diba? Okay. And I think that's some questions. Nakita nila yung nakita nila yung code ko. Yeah, there are questions here. So the producer in me will try to bring up the questions on the screen. Sige, start tayo dito. Saan na yun? Nawala siya. The price, Nico, the price. The price is around 26,990 pesos. So it's not 19,990. It's not 15,000. It's 26,990 pesos. Okay. And if you know your hardware, that's actually the price points of the competition. No. Can we mix camera inputs from different frame rates? Tatanong ni John Parado. Yes, you can mix cam inputs with different frame rates. because I'm running a 1080i 60, I'm running a 1080p 60. Tama ba? Let me just check. May, ano dito? Receivers. Wala na, walang isa. But yes. I reviewed this several times. Let me just open the website again para lang sure. Nicco, can you read out some of the other questions?
We also have another question from John Parado. He's asking if it also serves as a capture card.
Yes, the capture card, when you plug it with the USB-C, it acts as a webcam. USB 2.0 webcam. Yun yung lalabas sa computer mo na pangalan ng device na to. So whatever you input here will be outputted through that USB-C. Ayan. Let me just read just to be sure. The switcher supports multi-format inputs including 1080p, 1080i, 720p, 576, even 480p. Even before time. Even before HD. Sinisupport niya yung resolution na yan. Okay. Tama. Yep.
From RJ Sarmiento.
Yep.
Well, he's saying, I hope the logo or overlay or media library can be saved internally.
Yes.
So we don't have to set it up. Is it?
Yes, you can save the logos. You can save logo overlays internally. So meron siyang USB on this side, which I actually forgot to mention. Kasi hindi ko pa siya natatry. This USB-A port right here is actually input for a flash drive. And then dyan mo ilalagay yung, dyan manggagaling yung logos mo. I haven't tried it, but di ba, parang saksak mo lang dyan. Kung kailangan, ang logo na event, logo ng company, lagay mo dun. Yes.
Pati ba yung stills, pwede mo na ilagay dyan?
Yes, stills naman siya. So, JPEG, PNG, and BMP.
Aside from the logo.
Yeah, I would assume that anything that's, full screen, pwede mo ilagay dun sa screen na yan. Dun sa device na. If I may, bago tayo pumunta dun sa next question, menu, and then media library, you can pick out images, here. And you can also, ito, nakita ko lang siya kanina, you can also capture stills from whatever is on the screen currently.
From this, okay.
So, kunwari, merong nakapost dyan, bigla mo hulihin na yun. That can act as a...
Parang you wanna keep it on
the device.
On frame.
Yung particular frame na yun. So, you can go back to that. Daming indicators dun sa screen, sa multi-view mismo. Okay. Kuya Sepi, pwede yung price super mura na. Parang 4 pieces na cam link lang, pero better. I think the better na-guilty bigla ako. The better thing about this is you can mix already here. So, I will geek out a bit. And Nicco, in-explain ko rin to sa ibang tao. When you have 4 pieces of capture cards, that means all of the capture cards are actually using resources on your computer. Because you're asking the computer to mix it. Now, if you have this, then you only have essentially one capture card. Papasok dun sa computer mo. So, pwede. Actually, pwede naman siya.
So this actually solves the problem nung isang friend natin na nagka-problem kanina sa talk.
Yes. Offload niya yun.
So he should get a video mixer.
Yes. He should get a video mixer para mas madali. Para isang capture card na lang. But of course, given that if you are watching as a live stream producer, there are certain things that you want to... There are certain layouts that you want. The strength of this video mixer or video switcher is that it's almost... it's all in one in terms of switching. But you still need a computer to live stream. Siyempre, saan mo dadaling yung signal na yan, di ba? But also, the other point is, if you know the goal of what kind or what layouts you actually need to put together, then baka kailangan mo ng 4 na ganito. Yung pala yung gusto ko sabihin. Baka, ang tawag dito, you need the right tools, again, for the right job. So this is one tool that at its price point is very useful. As a starting point mo yun, 27,000. 26,990.
Ano lang it's a funny thing lang. I think Pearl just tuned in right when we said that this was what could have solved a problem from earlier. Hi Pearl, we were ayun na, tanungin na natin while Pearl is in the stream. Pearl, Glenn is asking about the white ZV-1. Yun daw ba talaga yung color ng windscreen na kasama?
Parang clown.
Because I think this pushes him close to the edge.
A bit closer to the edge. Sige. While we're waiting for Pearl's answer, John Barado asks, can you set the output signal to a specific frame rate? Yes. You can set the output to a specific frame rate. So, on your right-hand side, you will see 1080p 60, 50, 48, 30, 25, 24. And then interlaced formats 50 and 60. Even the multi-view format. Ito, Nico, kasi may mga TV na hindi tumatanggap ng 1080p 30. Ang tinatanggap niya lang 1080p 2997. O kaya 1080i. Minsan 1080i 60 hindi. So this is important as well. So minsan hindi yung kable yung may problema, but it's the TV or the monitor. No? And sorry John, i-extend na natin. Ngayon lang ako magdi-deep dive. Even the color space you can change. So from YUV, RGB full, and RGB limit. Tanong natin sa viewers na, may isa ka pa bang pa-giveaway? Wala na.
We have shirts pa. Pero wait lang sumagot si Pearl. Sabi ni Pearl, yeah, there's a fluffy windscreen, white windscreen. So yun yung originally comes with the white ZV-1. Okay. Plus there's also a colorful one that you showed kanina.
Parang inisip
ko Pearl, if you just joined us, we showed the deals for the January promo and the Photo World Asia promo.
Correct. Ayan.
So guys, sige, balik natin. Since I know a lot of those who are into live stream are as of this moment feel nila nabubudol sila ni Glenn. For everyone who feels like that, please comment #GlennZV1.
Oy, grabe naman. Grabe. Hopefully we can convince people. If nabubudol na kayo with this particular thing right here, biglang ZV1 pala yung lumabas with the AVMatrix HVS. Oops, kailangan ko restart ulit yung input ko. Which the HVS0402U. I think wala pang YouTube reviews nito eh. This is a quick first look with this particular item, and it's promising. Investment wise, I would think that siguro kung mas maraming YouTube videos and then lumabas to, parang feeling ko bibilin. Bibilin ko to. If you have questions, guys, please let us know in the comments. Definitely, I'd love to answer live streaming questions, even aside from this one. Before ka pumunta sa comment na yan, Nico,
Glenn, can you pull up
Hindi ko nga makuha yung comments eh. But before you
go
there,
yung comment ni Pearl.
two things. No? Number one is there's an electric fan. There's a fan that's actually inside this unit so that it nakikip niya na nagiging konya po tayo ng konti. Nakikip niya ng malamig or at least safe yung unit. And also, if you look at the multi-view, sorry, nagpapanik na ako as a video producer. If you look at the multi-view, there's a timer there, the uptime, that it's still being used, that it's on, and also you can check for the temperature and the time on the lower right-hand side. And the upper right-hand side, on the somewhere in the middle. Kasi syempre kapag nagpo-produce ka ng show, important kung kailan or kung nasaan ka na. Okay. Alright. Go ahead, Nico. Hindi ka pa ma-pull up kasi hindi pa siya lumalabas dun sa list ko. Nung ano.
Ayaw mo lang eh.
I'm not sure, dude.
Oh, we have a comment from Derek Kahukom. He says, nabago na isip ko from Hdmi. Galing mang budol ni Direk Glen.
It's a convincing product, definitely. I was able to try the first version of this one, and I think nung nag-uusap kami, nakita mo naman, nag-uusap kami ni Sir Sherwin. Ang dami mukhang marami silang natutunan and na-integrate nila dito sa product na to.
Yeah.
And then John Parado
actually, guys, you know what? Go ahead.
Sorry, not sure if you discussed kanina, but how is the build? All metal, actually. All metal siya. Except for the buttons, of course. Hindi ko alam kung pag kinatok ko ba. Naririnig mo ba? Pag kinakatok ko. But yes, it is all metal. Except for the buttons that's rubber. Ayan. Siguro in addition to this particular hardware, even if it's already a video switcher, you kahit off the show, namubul. You can think of this video switcher down the line, if you are capturing this through OBS or vMix or Zoom. Actually, you can use this with Zoom and other apps that uses webcam input. Think of it as building a show as well. So, kunwari, the early parts of, ano yun, Nico? Ano yung workshops from home. Gumagamit na ako ng video mixer to put together my slides and my camera. So, this is something that you can build on. Not just with the 4 cameras, but also how you intend to package that look down the line. Ayan. So, if you missed the unboxing, sige, while we're waiting for questions, ito yung mga kasama sa box. There's a GPIO port that's ang tawag dito, that's also with the unit. So, you can use that as tally. Ayan, makikita niyo sa screen. So, you have to build your own cable. Yun nga lang. And then, there is a USB-A to USB-C cable that's included para convenient na siya. Okay. And then, meron siyang thank you card. Oops, baliktad. Meron siyang thank you card para warm and fuzzy dito. Ayan, meron tayong questions pa, Nico. Can you read them out?
Yeah. From John Parado is asking the availability. I believe it's available now. Right?
Not yet, I think. Dun sa group chat.
Not yet.
Parang hindi pa yan.
Okay.
Even
we'll
the
double check.
pricing
But yeah, you can get this when it's available from Apex Digital, of course.
Okay.
That's their website on the screen.
Yeah. Wala pa eh. Add to wish
and
list. And
also a question.
Tsaka send an inquiry.
Question from RJ Sarmiento. Yung Lando ba is for control lang and not for direct streaming?
Okay. That's a good question, and that's partly the reason why I brought this up on screen. So PC control software is over. I would assume that you can do this over USB-C and also LAN. So yes, control lang siya. But if you're comparing it to the ATEM, the LAN for the ATEM is not direct streaming. It's really encoding in the unit, and then parang nagpo-provide ka ng internet. Sorry, parang I just wanted to clarify that particular bit. Baka mamaya i-update naman nila yung software, but I don't think there's an encoder in this particular unit at this point. Ayan. Oops.
All right.
Before teaser, I'll just answer this question from Sir Sherwin. So, Sir Glenn, how does it compare to the ATEM Mini Pro? The ATEM Mini Pro, paano ba magsa-start? It has a built-in live stream encoder. So, you can stream with it on its own. Doon ako magsa-start. So, in order to do that, you have to have a LAN cable. Now, when you have a LAN cable, it assumes that you have a router with you. So, marami ka nang kinoconnect. Nagbubuo ka na, di ba? And you have to have a modem or yung internet mo, and you have to have a laptop. So, that means, tawag dito, you have to really control the unit with the laptop as well. Kasi yung volume control niya, even if, actually yung, balik ako dito, no? Even if you have the encoding buttons here. Even if you have the multi-view, ano pa rin siya? Parang feeling ko bitin siya because you have to build the show with just the 4 HDMI ports. Okay. And yun nga, the ATEM Mini Pro and the ISO, this HDMI out is actually just for pwedeng multi-view. Actually, pwede mong palitan, but there's only one. So, magkaiba sila ng strength, no, Sir Sherwin. Magkaiba sila ng strength. But definitely, you have to have a goal in mind, no? So, if you're just switching, and because you are bringing it to a laptop anyway to broadcast, then might as well just put those things, two things together, so that you can develop the show or the live stream further. In terms of the price point, I'm sure you would know as well. The ATEM Mini Pro is around roughly 39,000. Yeah, so
significant difference.
Ayan, tama. And external Type-C SSD recording. So, yun. Nakikita ko yung question na yan sa international forums. The US... Yakadiri, no? Hindi ko. Gas na. The USB, the external Type-C SSD recording, meron siyang single recording, but that eliminates you from using that USB-C to go to the computer kasi nagre-record ka na dito. So, you have to use the HDMI out to send the program feed. So, wala ka ng multi-view. So, you have to decide how you will use those two ports, which is consistently available throughout the ATEM Mini line. Hopefully, I was able to answer your questions. Personally, you have to think of the end in mind, or at least as a technical person, you have to think of which parts you have to give up in order for you to produce, or which parts you have to choose so that you can build a better show. No? So, yeah. And one more tip, sorry, ang daldal ko na.
Sabi ni Pearl, go ahead, girl.
Is that when, given that the HDMI out, it's an HDMI out, pwede mo siya i-split. So, kunwari, kailangan mo ng maraming multi-view, i-split mo siya, pwede ka maraming TV, kahit na wala kang program out. So, may mga ganong workflow na pwedeng gawin. Anyway, going back. Thank you for joining us for tonight. Hopefully, you've learned a thing or two or 10 regarding this particular product. We'd like to give hindi shout out. We'd like to, again, thank our partner, Apex Digital, for this particular unit, the AVMatrix HVS0402U at 26,990. It will be available very soon.